everybody. This is Alan Feldman from Laguna Woods Democratic Club. Welcome to Black in Laguna Woods, and thank you for taking the time to watch us today. You know, on Village TV here in Laguna Woods, this program is listed as a quote production of the Laguna Woods Democratic Club. But in reality, we're kind of just providing the platform. This sure would not be possible to do without the participation and the help of many of the members of the African American Heritage Committee. They provide many of the people who appear on this program, and not only themselves, members themselves, but also several people who from outside the area we've had on, such as we had the president of Cal State University, Dominguez Hills, appeared on this program, and other people, the Chesleys, Thomas and Lillian Chesleys, who run an organization that gives out necessities, clothing necessities to homeless people. So really, this is really a big part of this program is the African American Heritage Club, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the African American Heritage Club, what it is, what it does, a little bit of its history, how it started. And we're going to, of course, talk about the upcoming events that the club has coming up in 2024. And to talk with us about it today, we have, we'll start with the president of the African American Heritage Club. And she's no longer newly elected, but she is the newest elected, I believe, city council member from Laguna Woods, Annie McCary. We have Alan Williams, who is officially the historian of the African American Heritage Club. And I call him the producer of the events of the African American Heritage Club. And Deborah David. Deborah is a member of the African American Heritage Club. She's a board member of Laguna Woods Democratic Club. And I believe you're a board member also of the Community Bridge Builders. So we have people here who are quite active in the community. And before we get started, I just want to congratulate everybody from the club for their Kwanzaa celebration, which from all accounts was really a tremendous success. All sorts of people showed up, and there is a great article. And today is December 22nd, so this is a little bit before Christmas. Show won't be shown until January, but there's a great article, front page article about the Kwanzaa celebration in this week's Laguna Woods Globe, which everybody should really read. It's not only has it got great pictures and it's a good story, but it also tells you what Kwanzaa actually is, which a lot of people don't know. But it's well worth the reading. So anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it, especially at Christmas time. Everybody's time is at a premium at this time of year, so I do appreciate it. And Annie McCary, as the president of the club, I'm going to start with you. And I'm going to ask you to tell us, what is the African American Heritage Club? What does it do? What is it designed to do? What are its objectives, its mission statement?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And it certainly is an honor to be president of the African American Heritage Club. And we are a social club that was formed in the city of Laguna Woods in July 2014 by Dr. Fran Williams, who is a developmental psychologist and former resident of Laguna Woods. She's now moved up to the high desert, but she formed the club back in 2014. And its purpose really is to recognize, celebrate African American culture through social and educational events. And so that's basically what we do. Our club meets once a month, the third Saturday of each month. And every month we strive to acknowledge, to celebrate and educate about African American contribution to this country. And so we do that numerous ways, as I said earlier, by doing some cultural events, some social and some educational events throughout the club. Sorry.
Right. So that's the mission of the club, and this club is not directed towards political issues or anything like that. My understanding, right? It
Absolutely,
stays away
no
from
politics. We're not a religious club. We're not a political club either. So basically, a social club.
Yeah, I remember when the idea for this program first started, that was one of the parameters. It couldn't people, not that people can't express their political views when we talk about various things, but we're not advocating for positions, we're not advocating for candidates. That's the same thing that the club does, so it seems. And Deborah, let me ask you too, because you obviously you don't have to be a person of color to join the African American Heritage Club. You're an active member of it. So I'm curious, what attracted you to the club? Why did you join the club? What attracted you to it? And what do you get out of it?
Well, let me go back a little bit and explain briefly the background of my interest. As everyone on this broadcast here, I came of age during the civil rights and Black Power eras. And as the Jewish daughter of immigrants, I've always been aware of issues of culture, race, and prejudice from times I was growing up. And the day I left my Los Angeles home to go to college in Michigan was during the Watts riots. And I can tell you exactly where I was and what I was doing when I first heard about the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. In grad school in sociology in Berkeley, I chose race and ethnicity as one of my areas of concentration. So, and the first college class I ever taught at the University of Missouri, Kansas City was race relations. The students in my class were about half Black and half white. And thankfully, they trusted me enough to share their life experiences. And that grounded me in a more nuanced and complex understanding than my academic background and personal experiences alone could have given me. And themes of race, culture, and equity were woven throughout my own professional career. But flash forward today to this decade, when Sue Deering, the president of the Democratic Club, suggested that we might form an African American committee, along with Sue and yourself, Alan Feldman, I volunteered to be part of it. It seemed to make a lot of sense to me. And that's how I met people from the African American Heritage Club, including Dr. Fran Williams, who Annie mentioned, Alan Williams, and Annie McCary, and most of the people who've appeared on this on previous Black and Laguna Woods programs. And when Alan Williams told us about the 2022 Juneteenth Gala, I bought tickets. He had to reassure me that even though it was a formal event, we didn't have to dress in tuxes and long gowns and things like that, that just nice clothes would be sufficient. And this is important, you don't need to be a social science nerd like I am to be interested in being part of the African American Heritage Club. Coming home from the Juneteenth Gala, which was lots of fun, my husband was so impressed with the whole experience that he said that right away on the way home that we should join. And he's an engineer. Now he's also a history buff and he keeps up with current events, but he was very interested, and he suggested that we join, and we became lifetime members. So I think my main message is that the club is very welcoming of residents from all backgrounds who are interested in African American culture, and we're encouraged to become actively involved. My husband and I have volunteered to help put together the March program, which is on Women's History Month. And I think the last thing I want to say is that the club is friendly and fun, that Kwanzaa was a fun event, and the programs for Juneteenth are lots of fun. So it's really something that I think a lot of people in the village would find worthwhile joining.
Right. Right. Well, it just really sounds like it's worked out for you.
Mhm.
So it seems, and Alan, I want to go to you next. I'm going to assume that the African American Heritage Club operates like many of the clubs in Laguna Woods, in that it may have, however many members, 200, 300, 400, 500 members. And there's probably 5, 10, 15 people who do all the work.
Five?
And
Yes,
Yeah, we won't get into
and
that.
yes.
yeah, well, you're one of the people that does the work. Whenever there's an event the club is putting on, you're involved in it. You're involved in I call it producing it. You're involved in producing it. You're involved in getting the performers to perform and the setup and all that. So how did you get in? How did you gravitate to that? Did you gravitate to that? Were you drafted? I mean, that's possible also. Is there anything in your background that you have kind of an affinity for that or experience in it? So just how did that happen?
Matter of fact, that's how it started. I have a kind of different story. I come from a little small town, Kingston, New York, like 90 miles north of New York City. So basically I come from a entertainment family. My father sang, my mother sang. I think my mother wrote her first song when she was like 7 years old. And I remember being in the house, my father used to walk around the house singing Nat King Cole songs. Matter of fact, he even looked like Nat King Cole. And so I was from an early age, from 8 years old, we were always doing talent shows in school, in elementary school. And then we end up being some friends of mine and end up getting to do it. Because that's during the 60s, that's when, black guys were in, it was either sports or you were in a singing group. No matter, all different cities had their niche and their hits. Like so in Kingston, we, even though we played sports, we also sang too. So we were in talent shows every year. We were in battle of the band. So that was something that we just did as in life. It was like second nature to us, because a lot of us had talented parents, but they just weren't able to do anything with their career. So luckily they had kids that had talent, and then high school, and then after that, if you see you're not gonna make it in singing, you have to get a job, you know, pay the bills. So we moved out here like 7 years ago, and I didn't know the history of Orange County that much as far as black folks. So the first thing I said when I came here, I said, where's all the black people? so, so I end up hooking up with some friends of ours at a church. Uh, and they're the ones that introduced me to the Afro American Club. And then from there, just took off. As you know, we had a small group of people, and I just wanted to just build it, a lot more. And I had some ideas, and other people had ideas, and it worked out. And then what really got me is when we had our first Juneteenth. We only had like a small amount of people come. So that kind of hurted me. It really hurt me that we didn't get a lot more people to come in the village to our Juneteenth celebration. So I focused. I said, next year we're doing something big. And that's how I started. That's how I started. Doing in 2022, we went out because I had experience with bands and stuff like that and what I wanted. So I brought it to the board. And Annie was the president then, and we all agreed upon, let's go for it for 22. And then after 22, as you know, it just ballooned, and now it's just make sure we do get better and better every year. So I come from a singing background and entertainment background, so that helps. That helped a lot.
Kind of a natural
Yeah.
move for you into that. You are becoming known around the village. The club is becoming known for its spectacular events. Really, it's that fashion show you did last year,
Yeah.
and the Juneteenth celebrations. So you're really getting a reputation in a good way for that.
Okay.
So I know you have some events coming up for the following next year. They're probably already planned. So I get into some of those. And Deborah, I'm going to ask you about this one first. And I know this is well, I'll let you talk. I'll let you explain what it is. But I know there's a clothing drive going on. I guess you call it a warm clothing drive. The necessities for winter. Socks, hats, gloves, things to keep people warm. And I know you're getting donations. So tell me about this, the collection of this. What are you guys doing to to collect these, and where are they going?
Well, I think Annie will need to tell us where they're going, but basically, as you said, it's a drive. I think Larry Dixon is coordinating that. Is that true? Yeah, Larry Dixon
yes, he is the main
is coordinating it, and we're asking people to donate those kinds of things, underwear and socks and warm clothes that will be given. And I think it's to, well, I don't want to say which group it's going to, because I don't know that as well as Annie. So let's turn to her to answer that one.
Yes,
We'll do that. Yeah, go ahead.
We generally do that for the entire month of January in honor of celebrating Martin Luther King. So we collect and we ask people to donate new or gently used warm clothing items, jackets, blankets, gloves, caps, socks, and those sort of things. And we collect them for the entire month. And at the end of the month, one of our members, Mr. Chesley, takes them to a mental health facility in Orange County, and they're donated to that group.
Thomas and Lillian Chesley, they've been on this program actually a couple of times. They have an organization, a little bit, I can't remember the name of it. A little bit of love.
I'm not. The name escapes me as well.
Oh, sorry, frightfully unprepared there. I should have written it down. But this is that's one of the things that I know. That's one of the things that they do is they collect the necessities, toiletries, and so forth for homeless people. But so I guess he's a good person to to be involved in that. But you mentioned also this is done in connection with Dr. Martin Luther King Day. So I'm guessing that you have other things planned for Martin Luther King Day, also other kinds of celebrations and things. So what else is going on for Martin Luther King Day?
Actually, our club will be celebrating Dr. King by showing every year we at our club meeting, we celebrate by showing some historical films about Dr. King and some of the work that he's done. And we invite people in the community to come to the club and have a discussion about the film that they've seen and any feedback, and do some reflection on it. So we do that, and we just celebrate that way.
So that's the Martin Luther King Day. And what day is that this year? What day is that happening?
We celebrate, our club always celebrate the third Saturday of the month. So the third Saturday of the month at our club meeting is when we honor Dr. King with our celebration. And even though we meet on the third Saturday of the month, we encourage people to bring their gently used items or new items to our club meeting. We collect them for the entire month. And then we give them to our member, Mr. Chesley, and he takes them to the facility that he's affiliated with.
But of course, that's not the only thing you've got going planned for the year. I know there's Alan Williams here. Tell us about the event that's going on in February. What it is, and tell us when it is also, and who's going to be there. Tell us all about it.
It's we came up, all of us who grew up in the 60s and late 50s, early 60s, well, most of the 60s, all we heard about was Motown. But there were other cities that had a hotbed of Black entertainers. Nobody talks about, like Philadelphia, and that's where the group is coming from. Well, they came from the Hart brothers, HART. They started a group called the Delphonics, and they were mostly, but in the 60s they were a big group. And they sang a lot of love songs. So we're having the Delphonics at February 10th, and also back then in Philly, there was a lot of songwriters that a lot of people probably don't know about. All we know about is like I said, Motown, but there was Gamble and Huff in Philadelphia. There was Tom Bell and a Jewish girl named Linda Creed, who wrote songs for like the Stylistics. Unfortunately, Linda Creed, Creed, she passed away at like 36 years old. But she wrote songs like "People Make the World Go Around," "Betcha My Golly Wow," all those songs by the Stylistics. So there was a lot of stuff going on in Philadelphia. So the Delphonics is one of the ones that came from Philly, and they had a lot of hits. So that's obviously the we know now a lot of these groups have a lot of the originals have passed on, or they have like one left, possibly. So we have the new Delphonics coming February 10th, and it's geared towards Valentine's Day. So it's going to be a good show, and obviously, like, you can get your tickets from tickets at LagunaWoodsVillage.com or from Annie and I. That's February 10th,
Wait, are
7:30.
you hearing? What venue?
Oh, I'm
what
sorry,
venue will
at
we be?
the PAC.
At the PAC. Oh, very good.
I'm sorry.
Very
at
good.
the PAC.
Yeah, the Delphonics, they were, I guess their biggest success was probably in the 80s and 90s.
No,
Um,
no more in the 60s. They sang like La La
Really,
Means I
I
Love
know they.
You. Yeah, but their strongest years was like late 60s, early 70s. La La means la 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 means I love you. You remember that? That's one of their biggest hits. Also, they made like what's some other ones they made, Break Up to Make Up, but a lot of songs they had big hits, Delphonics. So that's just
And
one.
that they were very prominent in Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yes,
Jackie Brown,
that's
the
right.
movie with.
Matter of fact, you're absolutely right. I just seen that on the thing. That's right. Well, you did your
Right.
homework.
I've
And they
seen the
did
movie
like
a couple of times.
didn't I blow your mind? Didn't I blow your mind this time? So once people hear a lot of people don't know the name, but once they hear
Right.
the songs, then they'll remember. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a good show. So
And
Yeah,
so
but
what's important to note, though, is that this is a Delphonics review,
yes,
because the originals, I believe there's maybe one alive, but this is a review.
yes,
And Alan can talk about, the lead singer, Gary Stevens.
yes.
He sang with the original group.
Yeah, he sang with a
Did-
guy. His name was Major Harris. I don't know if you
Major
know.
Harris, yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember the song, "Love Won't Let Me Wait." But Major Harris
Yeah.
was the original Delphonics. The Hart brothers, the two brothers started it. Then they had Major Harris. So Stephen sang with Major Harris. But they can sing. They're good. It's going to be a good show. So hope
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure
And
it
we
will.
also
So,
have a Delphonic who as a resident in Laguna Woods.
is that right? Really?
That's right.
Yes,
One of the
one of the
performers.
ones that are performing actually lives in the village.
That's right.
All
That's right.
right. And the date of that again is February 10th.
February 10th. The show starts 7:30 at the PAC.
Mm.
And like
Okay.
I said, you can go on the website, the PAC, and get tickets or contact Annie and I.
They
And
can probably pick them up in
it's
the
a
fall.
tribute to Valentine's Day as well,
Yes.
because February is Valentine's
Valentine's
month.
Day.
So
Okay. Great. And we just got a couple of minutes left. So I just want to throw something out. Definitely I'm gonna ask you, and we'll ask everybody else if we have time. If we can get it in, we'll have time. But mentioning Martin Luther King Day coming up, and I guess my question is in more of a serious vein than we've been speaking about, but I just wonder if people, what you think, if people feel that Dr. King's message still resonates today. You know, I know that he's certainly a person of iconic stature, but does that the message of nonviolence and taking the long road, do you think that still resonates with people today? I mean, now that we're used to changing channels so quickly.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, so much of what he stood for is meaningful to me in today's world, and it's a good anchor for, in a good contrast to a lot of what's happening. If you've ever gone to the memorial in Washington, D.C., it's very moving. And like I said, I hope that it still resonates with people. I don't know to what extent it resonates with the younger generation, but it certainly does resonate with my generation, our generation, I think.
Yeah, I've just got a minute left, but I'd really like to get both you, Annie and Alan. I'd like to get your opinion about that too. Annie, what do you think? Dr. King still a viable message in today's world?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And the reason I think that is because I embody his message. And wherever I am, I see myself as a messenger of Dr. King's philosophy. So if, as long as it lives in me, I believe that it lives on.
You get the last word, Alan. What do you think? Still work for you too?
Oh yes, I just want to say I remember when obviously I was young when he passed away, but what still resonates in my mind is when I came home from school and he was assassinated. And I remember seeing, I never ever seen my father cry because my father obviously grew up in the 30s, 40s. That's the first time I ever seen him cry. And I knew right there how important Martin Luther King was to just, especially the black folks, I mean, all what he tried to do. So I think he still resonates a lot. But like Deborah said, it's the generation, depends on the generation. But we grew up in a good time. I wish we can just put the 60s on hold, just stay in the 60s, some of the 70s, but I think it's still real. I think it still resonates.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go back to the 60s anytime. Well, as
Maybe in
always,
another life.
we
Never know. We don't know. We might come back.
hope.
Not to
well,
the
we'll see.
60s, but
We might come back, but now we have to go away. Because we're out of time. So I just want to thank you all again so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and thank you all for the work that you do, really. And I just urge everybody, you join the club or go to the meetings, go to these events. I tell you, you go to these events and you will not be disappointed. You will have a good time. You will be with a lot of people having a good time. I really recommend it. And I wish everybody this a few days before Christmas. So happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. And
Happy
happy
Kwanzaa.
Martin Luther King Day.
happy Kwanzaa.
We'll be seeing you soon. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye
Thank
now.
you, Al. Thank
Thank
you.
you.